Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Battle of Ontario Hockey Podcast, featuring a Senators fan and a Leafs fan. We're here to talk about your two favorite teams, the rest of the NHL, local hockey, hockey all around the world, and to bring back memories from your favorite hockey teams and players. If you love the Leafs, Sens, B-Sens, NHL, or any other hockey, including the late Vaive Bulls, you are going to want to tune into our podcast. The gloves are off, the buckets are spinning, let's get the chirps flying. Welcome to the Boo Club! Hey guys, welcome to another episode, another season. Can you believe it, Fleming? Season 3 of the Battle of Ontario Hockey Podcast here on the Pay It Forward Sports Network. Good to see you, buddy. I got to say, you got one hell of a background this year compared to mine. Mine isn't ready to go yet in a couple of weeks, but the Pay It Forward Sports jersey, all autographs on there. We're going to talk about that later. But first, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It looks like you're kind of in the basement, your old parents' old place kind of thing. It looks like you got a little old school wallpaper going on, but no, happy to be back, buddy. Ready to sit in pain and feel the pain of a Leafs fan for another year. I don't know.
Well, I'm surprised you're saying that. You didn't just hop right to the chase because Saturday night the Leafs did beat my Senators, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to be back, buddy. I know we've taken a big break from here, and I know we've had a lot of people ask. I know I've had a lot of people ask me, where you guys been? When are you getting on again? When are you getting guests? But it was nice to take a break. But it's nice to be back. We have big plans for season 3 of the Boo Club, the hockey podcast here. Lots of guests to come on, and I can't wait to get started. Today's the first one back, so we've got lots of stuff to chat about. So the first thing I want to talk about, though, is this is the Pay It Forward Sports Network. With that, we're connected, obviously, with Pay It Forward Sports, the Battle of Ontario Hockey Podcast. We have helped, around 30 kids this year.
I think the official number is 28 kids right now.
28 kids right now. So,
yep.
That's awesome. We're very proud of that. But we also just want to thank the community for all their support. We've had a lot of tournaments. We just had our 5th golf tournament this year. So in our little, what have we been going, a year and a half here? Less than 2 years anyways. We've had 7 golf tournaments. So that's pretty crazy. So 5 this year, including a celebrity one with Wendel Clark, Rick 5. We'll get into that one later. I do want to chat about that one for a bit because it was a ton of fun. But it's been awesome. So I just wanted to say that. I want to say congrats to you for that too. I know you put in a lot of hard work, and not only that, but we have a lot of people that support us that play in multiple tournaments and sponsor multiple tournaments, and we have big sponsors. I know you're going to probably get into some of them. So we just want to say thanks to that. What we're doing is working, and what everybody else is supporting is working. So it's great to give back to the community, and it's awesome to talk hockey and chirp Leaf fans on here. So that's what we're all about here on the Boo Club. Now, my son's got to get a win here sooner or later. We're 0-2, so I can't chirp too much. But put all your money on Ottawa Tuesday night because they're taking down the Bruins. I'm telling you.
I might take a little action in that in a segment later, Brokey. I think the Bruins are going to come out on top. I'm thinking the Sens are one of the teams they may be overrated this year. You guys are all, we can talk about it all you want, but
overrated.
Everyone's
a playoff team. How could they be overrated?
Sorry, you said you think they're going to be a playoff team? I think everyone's Cinderella team is the Senators this year. Do you not think so? Like everything I hear is the Senators are the team that are going to jump up and pass some teams in the Atlantic this year. I just don't kind of see it. I don't know if it's just because I want to chirp you and the Sens fans or not, but at this point, I don't know. I think you still got some work to do. I think, that's kind of my thought. I think one injury on defense and you're in a lot of trouble. And is the goaltending going to hang in there without Talbot? I'm not sure, Brokey. I think you're going to be in a little pain this year. And I think what do we got on it? $200 that the Sens don't make the playoffs. So I think I'm going to be $200 richer here pretty soon, buddy.
I'm actually going to have to go through my bets because I know we do have a couple bets. I can't really remember what they are, so we'll look back on that. We do have some bets, though. I am on the Sens train to make the playoffs. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. It's a long season. I mean, there's 82 games, and, there's already a lot of people, fire EJ, fire this, and, at the same time, I'm not saying I want to fire, but I'm on the side is like, what is he doing? There's been a couple things already where I'm like, but at the same time, the Toronto-Ottawa game on Saturday night could have gone either way. It was not like the last 4 years when you watch Toronto-Ottawa. Even the games Ottawa won the last 4 years, which they wasn't a lot, but they did win a few, it was still 60 to 70% in the Leafs' favor as far as, the domination of the game went, the shots on goal, puck possession, all that stuff. Where you watch it the other night, it was pretty close. Like, the Leafs might have had the edge, but not by a lot. It wasn't by 60%, maybe 55. And Ottawa had some chances to score. They haven't scored much in their first 2 games, but I think it's going to come. It's going to come Tuesday night. I'm telling you, and I'm excited. I still think they're a playoff team. Boston's got off to a good start, which surprised me a little bit because I got a bet with my old man saying Ottawa finishes ahead of them this year, which is a big bet because I couldn't tell you the last time Boston didn't even make the playoffs. But anyways, back to Ottawa.
It's been so long since Boston hasn't made it. I literally remember when we started this podcast, like I think 2 hockey seasons ago, I was like, Boston's getting old. It's probably time, probably Boston's time to fall. Who's going to rise up? And they're still right there, man. Like, even without McAvoy, Marchand, like, how did they get David Krejci back at this point? Like, man, that guy's been retired for like 3 years and he slides back in like nothing's happened. Like, I don't know. It just seems like the team that never wants to go away. Like, that's kind of how I see it. It's kind of like an interesting thing. Like, what team in the East this year do you think, like, there's got to be a team that should have rebuilt? Like, we're talking Pittsburgh, Washington, Boston, like some of those teams that have just been hanging on forever and, like, been good forever. Like, was it time to retool for one of them? Like, I don't know. Everyone's going one last kick of the can. I thought it was Boston's year to kind of retool with Marchand being out and McAvoy being out. But look, winning organizations, winning teams are going to go for it. And you got to love it. I love seeing them go for it and, going down with till the last breath kind of thing. So, go until you have the momentum. And when the time comes to retool or rebuild, then transition. But I love it. They're going for it. And I think the Bruins are going to make it this year. I do not see any teams jumping the Bruins for that 4th spot in the Atlantic. I don't see it happening.
You know what? Like, you nailed it on the head. Those 3 teams are the 3 that one of them isn't making the playoffs. I'm telling you.
One of them can't. Like, someone has to miss
one
it.
Of them's not making it. Yeah. But if you're the GM of any of those 3 teams, I mean, you could sit there and say we should rebuild, but look at who you got. Like, First off, you got Crosby, you got Malkin, right? Letang on that was the big talk last year, and then they end up doing pretty good. So they re-sign these guys. You can't, when you got a guy like Crosby, it's like a McDavid, that type of player. How do you not keep going for it? You literally, you have to just keep going for it because when you get the playoffs, you pick up a couple big guys and you're healthy, anything can happen, especially if you get a hot goalie.
Here's one question I got for you, Brokey. We didn't talk about this before. Is Sidney Crosby the most underrated player in the NHL right now? Or like the most disrespected player? Like, let's not forget 10 years ago, like Sidney Crosby was in the conversation for maybe not best hockey player ever, but certainly best hockey player of a generation. And now, everyone's on McDavid kind of thing now. Sidney Crosby's still grinding away and making that team legit, almost, not single-handedly, but just a winner, man. Like, I don't know. I was in a fantasy draft. And anyway, the reason why I thought is I picked up Sidney Crosby in the 4th round. I think it was like the 40th pick or something like that. Like, no one was taking him. Like, by that time, people started transitioning to like wingers and defense. And Crosby's sitting there like, man, how can you pass on Crosby? Like, early in the 4th, like, it doesn't make sense to me. The guy's still one of the best players in the world.
He is 100%. And a lot of people nowadays, and it's tough with fantasy. I don't know how yours works. Depends on the rules and whatnot, because some are points and all that. But I mean, when you look at a player, obviously he's still one of the top players in the world. Is he going to catch McDavid in points? Is he going to, be the leading goal scorer? He's not going to score as many goals as Ovechkin. He's not going to score as many goals as Matthews, unless those guys get hurt. But is he going to be as important to his team, if not more? Possibly.
Probably, yeah.
One of the most important players in the league. I mean, he's still top 10 in the league when it comes to importance. So that's the tricky part when you're talking fantasy. But again, I think right now it's like because of all these young guys, and he's 35 now, he's kind of being forgotten about. And you know what? And especially the other thing too is Ovi's chasing something, right? Ovi's chasing Gretzky here. So Ovi's taken over that stardom thing. He's still putting up big numbers, big goals. So I think the focus is on him. And then obviously you've got Matthews in Toronto, who's scored 60-something goals or whatever, 61 was it? And then you've got obviously McDavid and, Draisaitl and McKinnon winning the cup. I mean, he's top 3, if not top 2 in the world. And McCarr. So these guys are taking over the stardom, the popularity, but Sid's still there. He's still there, still top 10, minimum probably top 5 in the world as far as player goes, as far as a guy you want on your team that's going to get you to win. right?
Yeah.
It's all little things, which like fantasy doesn't really focus sometimes on the little things.
Mm-hmm. But I wasn't even talking so much fantasy. I was just talking like if you were to do like a redraft of the league today, like where would Sidney Crosby go? Like I just think people are sleeping on Sidney Crosby. I still think, he's a top probably 5 player in the NHL. Like the guy's just unreal. And you know what? With all that experience, he's a winner, man. He knows how to win. He'd be a guy that I wouldn't sleep on Sidney Crosby ever, actually.
No, without a doubt. But having said that, I mean, again, like those teams, Boston's going to slide here. I still think they're going to miss the playoffs. Ottawa's going to slide in. Maybe I'm wrong, but they're not going to be top 3 in that division. They're not. They're going to if they make the playoffs, it's a 7th or 8th seed, which again, they play the Leafs or whoever, they can win that series. No, without a doubt. They're still right there. I just feel like there's going to come a time with all 3 of those teams, maybe not all 3 this year, but all 3 of them, there's going to come a time where it's over. It's to rebuild. And they're all hanging on for dear life. But how do you blame them? Look at the players they got. Like if I'm Boston, I still got Marchand, I got Pasta, Bergie. I mean, you still got to hang on. Why would you can't? It's too. You're still there. There's still something there. And if the magic happens and they get on a roll and they can pick up a player or 2, hey, anything can happen. Same with Washington.
I love that they're going for it. I hate all these losing franchises that literally are in the business of just tanking because
I thought you were buying a Tempe jersey. You told me last night.
I'm not buying any goddamn Tempe jersey. You know what? Someone told me at work the other day. They said they were just playing a fantasy situation. It says, imagine because Kyle Dubas doesn't have a contract after this year, right? They let him. This is the last year of his deal. They said, watch what's going to happen. He says the Leafs will either get past the first round or make a run. Maybe win the cup, and then Dubas is going to get a big fuck you on for Shanahan. Say, oh, you wouldn't sign me, because he is a little vengeful. He kind of comes from I don't know, just that's what the feel it kind of is. Where I said, what if Kyle Dubas gets recruited to go to Arizona and he fucking tries to bring Matthews with him? I would just burn whatever place he lived in down. I'd be so angry about that. I just couldn't stand that shit. So
I love that idea, buddy.
My buddy talked to me about it at work. Oh, I almost had to leave for the day. Like I almost had to take a personal day. I was just like a mental health thing. I was just rattled.
100 a year.
I was rattled. Oh my God.
No, you know what though? I mean, that's interesting. But I mean, do you blame Shanahan? I mean,
God, no. And you know what the difference?
Does Dubas deserve a contract? At the end of the day, whether you can say he's done, and he has, I think
Dubas does not deserve a contract.
No, but and I'm not saying he does. My point is, I think he's done a lot of little things that people don't understand. I also think there's been some bigger mistakes, and he will not take a chance at trading somebody, one of these big names. He's holding on. That's on him. They haven't got it done. We know that. So if you're Shanahan, hey, the proof is in the pudding. If you don't win, you don't get a contract. You don't deserve one. That's how it is. It's like these guys that sign these 2-year deals or 1-year deals. Prove it.
Yeah.
Prove yourself, and you get a contract. So now, what are you going to sign them for another year? And then if they don't make it past the first round, you just get rid of that year. You just waste paying a guy for a year. I don't even know what they make. What would Dubas make? $1 million, $2 million?
No way. He makes way more. Because
I don't even know.
I don't know what he makes, but remember Mike Babcock was making $7 million a year with the Leafs. These guys aren't coming for cheap. I bet you Dubas is making $3, $4, $5 million. I don't know.
Mike Babcock has also come in, and he was at the highest paid coach in the world ever in hockey. He was brought in. Dubas was a rookie. Dubas is, but again, probably a couple mil. Anyways, that doesn't matter. But again, I think we both agree he's got to earn his contract here. Here's a question for you.
Okay.
What gets him a contract? Whether it's a 1 more year, 2 more years, 3 more years. What gets him a contract?
For me, if I was running the Leafs, he would have to get past the second round to get a contract. I'm thinking for Shanahan, and look, Shanahan's hitched his wagon to Dubas now. He's all in. If the Leafs lose in the first round, not only is Dubas in trouble, Shanahan's in trouble. So if for Dubas to get a contract, I think if the Leafs make it past the first round, I'm sure Shanahan will give Dubas a contract just because, look, that's his boy kind of thing. But
1 year probably, eh? 1 year?
No, I think he'll just resign. I think he'll say, I like Kyle. I like his thought. That's the way the game's going to be played now. And I think he'll hitch his horse to Kyle for as long as he's here for. Let's not, Kyle Dubas is a smart guy. He does a lot of things pretty well. He's a great manager of the salary cap once he got himself into trouble. He finds some bargain basement guy, some guys for good deals to come in and help. But look, I think the main takeaway I took from the game Wednesday night against Montreal is that it's the same team, man. It's the exact same team. They have the same issues. And I don't know if you heard Keith come out after the game with his post-game conference. And Keith aired them out right to the media after game 1. And you know why? because it's the same things, man. Like you see the same guys making bad plays, same guys making dumb penalties. You know what? They've got all this skill, but they just refuse to do the easiest things that it takes to win the game. Like maybe try not to pinch with 30 seconds left in a 3-3 game. Like, you know, like they just do things that are the most inopportune time. And like, it's either like their awareness or their hockey IQ, like just whatever it is, they refuse to do the easy things to win a game, the things that should come simple. And I don't know, that just
the things that winners do to win games.
Yeah.
When you play games, right?
Like,
and it's funny. So here's something.
They're flash, man.
Yeah, they're flash in the pan, and that's the trouble. And it's funny. We talked about this the other day when you were over. What did you say about Wendel Clark? Man, I couldn't believe how big of a name is Wendel Clark. He was the headliner of our tournament.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later. But having said that, Wendel Clark's probably one of the, not including the guys today, but from the guys in the past, he's probably top 3 most popular of all time.
Got to be 100%. Yep.
For the Leafs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
What were his points? Like 40, 50 points. We were talking about this. It wasn't like he's put up 90 or 100.
Yeah, no.
But when they got in situations, in games like that, maybe he didn't have 3 points or whatever. Maybe he didn't have 4 points. Maybe he had 1 point, but it was the most important. Or maybe he shut down guys. He was doing whatever it takes. He was laying big hits. If he had to fight, I know the game was different then. Still, the fight was there. The hit was there. The block shot was there. Whatever it took to win, the face-off, whatever, if he had to do, it was there, right? It's not about those numbers. And that's where they struggle. And that's where, hey, Sidney Crosby, we just talked about.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Sidney Crosby.
That's what he's doing. It's not about Sidney Crosby getting 90 or 100 points anymore. It's being able to do what those guys that can't, those flashy guys. And until they learn to be winners. You remember Scotty Bowman when Scotty Bowman came to Detroit, Yzerman was lighting up the league. I think he had 120 points or something. And he said, listen, I want you to have 20 less points. And he's like, Yzerman didn't get it. What are you talking about? Why would you usually somebody want you to, I want you more. You can do more. No, it's not about the points. I want you to do more little things. I want you to play more defensive. So our whole, because he was the captain, our whole team starts playing more defensive, right? And not taking these offensive chances all the time. So we allow way less goals. We play tighter, and that's how you win. Guess what? Stanley Cups.
My thought. So yeah, exactly. Like the Yzerman, the Crosby thing. My thought with the Leaf is it's got to be just the philosophy, because you can't do the same thing wrong over and over again. Like, man, as a player, like I'll just say Justin Hall, like for example, because he made the, kind of the screw up in Montreal.
Scored the other night too. Jesus.
Oh, I know.
I had a few people text me, "Oh, you let Justin Hall score." Well, no, I didn't, because I don't play there.
But like, I'm sure, like he seems like a smart guy. He's pretty articulate. Like I'm sure he knows in the back of his mind, like, shit, this is a pretty low risk play, but this is the system we play at all times, no matter the score, no matter the situation. So it's just like ingrained in him now. Like, I'm not trying to shit on the guy, but it just seems like people can't be that dumb to make the same mistake over and over and over again. It's got to be the what they're preaching. It's got to be Keith saying, this is the way we play. Dubas is saying to Keith, this is what we do all the time. Like there's no situational awareness to the team, it feels like, in my opinion.
They're always trying to go with that offensive play.
Yeah.
Just play a smart play, whether it's just keeping the puck, putting pucks deep and having that third guy high, and your D not pinching and coming down the wall, right? They always play that offensive way, which is
they're always on the offensive side of the puck.
Yeah, which is great. But again, when it comes to a certain time in a game, right, you can't play that way. You want to play more defensively and just say, hey guys, your D are staying back. Let the forwards come up, whatever it is. We're not pinching down the wall, right?
This is funny, man, because the first thing in my notes, like I made a few notes to show, the first thing that I said, and I even texted, I said, I don't want to come here and shit on the Leafs for the whole show. So let's try to move on to something else positive here. Like, do you got anything going on for your Senders? Like, give me the outlook on the Sens here. I know you're 0-2, rough start.
So it's been the summer of Pierre, right? The summer of Pierre for probably a lot of listeners that don't understand. Ottawa fans all over Twitter, that's what we call it. It was the summer of Pierre. It was a hell of a summer. I mean, we signed Giroux, traded for DeBrincat. Awesome. The other things that people are like, oh, you got two guys, one guy who knows you had played with Patty Kane, and the other guy's over the hill. Giroux is not over the hill. I'm telling you right now. Is he going to put up 100 points? No, but he might be that little bit that we just talked about Toronto doesn't have, right? That's going to win you face-offs and play defensively and be able to put the puck in the net. I'm excited for him. He's playing awesome with DeBrincat. They're going to light the lamp here. I like this DeBrincat kid. I'm really high on him. I think he's going to light the lamp once he gets going here. He's got a ton of talent. The other things with Ottawa that people don't really realize, unless you're a fan, Shane Pinto is going to be one heck of a player.
Yeah, he's a third line center right now. Eh? Like I think he scored the other night against Toronto, didn't he? He actually looked good, and he looked like a reliable player, like someone you can trust kind of in the situations.
He's going to be an awesome two-way player. I think.
Mhm.
I think when he hits his peak in the NHL, he's going to be a really, really good second line center. I really do, and I mean that as like a two-way. Can be on the offense, be on the power play, can be on the penalty kill. At the end of the game to try and score a goal, but also at the end of the game to try and defend a goal, right?
Mhm.
And I really, really have high hopes for him. So, I mean, that's a guy that Ottawa didn't have pretty much 90% of the year last year. So that's like another guy coming to the team. So now we got those three. Then we got Sanderson there on defense. I don't know if you watched him a lot.
Yeah, he was good, man. He was good.
And he's going to be a rock. I think in the next couple of years he's going to pass Shabbat. And he's played better than Shabbat.
As far as I'm concerned, like I was watching him, like, man, right away I'm like, he's better than Brandstrom, like already. Like he's I don't know if Brandstrom just not the player he's.
But yeah, Brady actually starting to play good too. Compared to where he was playing, he doesn't have the ceiling of Sanderson. I think Sanderson is going to be one of the top two-way defensemen in the game as well. And I keep talking about the two-way, but that's the way I think these guys are. So I don't know. I like those guys. And then they pick up some debt with that Mate guy. Formington isn't signed, but we'll see. So, I mean, the top six I really like. Actually, I like the top nine. They just got to start scoring, but they're getting chances. They're going to beat Boston. So let's talk about that. So I'm high hopes for my Senators. The last thing we didn't talk about, well, you mentioned it in the opening, was the defense. I don't think there's a panic right now, at least with me, to get another defenseman. I think they're going to feel out how Sanderson is, and it's starting to come with him. Now, having said that, I think to compete, and if it comes down to it the second half of the season, and especially with injuries and all that, they need to get a right-handed defenseman. They need to get somebody solid. That's my take. They keep talking about that. I forget his name. Don Cherry's name, but Chakrin or
Chikrin. But he's left-handed, I believe, too. Though.
I know, and they got enough left-handed guys. Like, if you already have Shabbat, Sanderson, unless you're trading one of them, or in Brandstrom, then you get him. You got to throw one on the off wing. Just go after a right, even if it's a trade.
I'm going to tell you, Brokey, the Leafs been looking for a right-handed defenseman for about 4 years. Like, they just don't exist. Like, or no one's giving them up, you know?
If I'm Toronto, I said this last 3 years in this damn podcast, even when we've only been I guess third season now. They need to trade one of those big names for one of the big name D. That's how it happens. But anyways, so I don't know. I'm still confident in my Senators. I know we started 0-2. I still feel like they're going to do a good season. My take is they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to slide into 7th or 8th seed. Now that's a take. I'm not guaranteeing it. I bet on it, but it's not like, oh my God, it's not like Toronto. Like I would say Toronto, there's probably a 99% chance to make the playoffs this year, unless they have like the worst goaltending issues in the history, which we haven't talked about. But that could happen. Although Samsonov looked all right the other night, I thought. What'd you think of him?
Yeah, Samsonov looked pretty good. You know what? He looks like Samsonov. He looks like a big guy, which is probably the first thing you want to, right? Just a funny thing about yeah, I thought Samsonov looked okay. Like, I think he let in a weak goal every game that he played. But I mean, hey, you don't let in the big saves too. But you don't let in the third goal. That's the big goal. That's the swing goal is the third one, right? If you can keep a team at 2, I don't even care if you practically let 2 bad ones in. I think you probably did your job if you get out of there with 2 goals against, right? So he made some big saves coming into a difficult spot. Like he wasn't game 1, he comes in against his old team. He's a young guy. Like, they said Ovechkin and the guys, they were chirping him in Russian. They're kind of making fun of him a little bit. Then he comes in and plays Ottawa. He's not supposed to play. He doesn't know he's playing until 3 p.m. Gets in, has a good game in a pretty big rivalry, the Battle of Ontario. So I thought he's good. But have you heard his quote about The Rock? You saw The Rock came in game 1 for Toronto, Dwayne?
Yeah.
So Dwayne, The Rock comes in game 1. He does the go Leafs go or whatever he said, right? And so they go to the clips after the game. They're talking to all the guys. They're like, so Austin Matthews, they're like, hey, did you know The Rock was coming to the match? Like, no, like, I wish I knew The Rock was coming. Like, I can't believe they didn't tell me. Marner, oh, that's awesome. I can't believe The Rock was there. Then they ask Samsonov, they say, so what'd you think when The Rock showed up? He go, what? And they go, oh, The Rock. Did you not see like The Rock in the crowd? Like, do you know who The Rock? He's like, I know no Rock. Just like that. I know no Rock.
No way.
Yeah.
He's like one of the most famous people in the world.
I know. He was like, you could tell he had no idea what he talking. Like the reporter talking. The reporter's like moves on. Like, I know no Rock. Like,
probably didn't understand him. Is what.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. Like,
I'll have to watch that. But
I think he thought the reporter's talking about an actual rock or something like that. He's like, no, I know no. Like just like that.
You're a rock in that, buddy. Yeah. But how about Murray? 4 weeks he's out is what I heard.
Hey man, like look. We're going back to the Dubas thing again. This is 2 years in a row. Kyle Dubas has brought a goalie in before the season, and 1 game into the year, they've both been hurt. So that doesn't look good on Dubas. Yeah, I don't think Murray looked that great to start with against Montreal. I thought he looked big, which is good, but I thought he was also slow. Like, and especially side to side. Like he come out, he cut down the angle, like he looked like a big goalie, but side to side, he just looked slow. I don't know if he was kind of feeling that injury before or not, but I can't say I was impressed with him. And I wasn't a big Murray fan, kind of even when Ottawa signed him. I kind of thought, one of those guys that maybe got lucky being in Pittsburgh, playing with a good team for a couple years, winning a couple cups. And, once you win the cup, especially as a goalie, you have that shine, right? Everyone thinks you're a winner. And, I think that's probably helped him make some money in his career, but I don't think he's going to be look, just kind of the way the Mrazek thing played out last year. I don't see how this is going to be a fit with Murray. I think by the end of the year, I think it's going to be Samsonov and someone else in net. I don't think Murray makes it to the end of the year with Toronto at this point. I just don't think they can do it. It's too big of a year, and the injuries have already started, man. I don't think it's going to happen.
Here's my take on Murray. Just so as a career, I mean, nothing against him. He won massive games.
Yeah.
But when you look at a lot of Stanley Cup champions, it's usually a goalie that plays like 80% of the time, we'll say, right? Fleury played close to 50% of that time, right? So Fleury was a huge part of that.
Fleury played into round 3 against the Senators.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So,
yeah.
I mean, so now here's my take, and here's my thought process on Dubas. Where do they struggle every single year? Gold or playoffs. They cannot get past round 1. You think this is? I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to tell you what I think. I think Murray was simply brought in. Hopefully, he's healthy enough and on his game. When they need a goalie in Game 7, they play him. Stanley Cup experience. He has won big games, and he's like, "Hey, I don't even care about the season. If he wins games, whatever. We get in the playoffs. We know we got to get past this first round." That's my theory on it. I think he's like, I got nobody else. Let's sign this guy, and maybe when push comes to shove, if he's still around and he's healthy and he's ready to go, maybe he's our guy when we need to win that Game 7.
I 100% agree on that, man. I think they purely brought him in for the playoff experience. They want to have a winner in there. And yeah, let's say before Murray got hurt, if you were to tell me Samsonov wins his first game, Murray loses, if you were to say the playoff starts today, who's going to start? I would have 100% said Matt Murray because the brass is invested in him, man. It's going to look, he's Dubas's guy, another guy that played in Owen Sound, Keith's from Owen Sound too. I just think that's the guy they decided they were going to roll with. You can't tell me Keith wasn't consulted on the situation. Murray was the starting goalie, and they all say it's a tryout at camp, or it's going to be a competition. There's no competition there, man. Murray had Game 1 locked up from the get-go. So
that's who they're thinking of for playoffs. So I mean, I think we both agree with that. That's what it's come down to. Hey, let's get a guy who had playoff success, and because they know they're going to get there. But
man, how can you think that now? He was hurt. How many times he went on the injured reserve twice last year, then went to the AHL. And with the lead, and now he's hurt 1 game into the year. Couple that with the Mrazek thing last year. I just don't think I don't think they're afforded the patience anymore. I think the pressure of the whole situation of Toronto is just going to be, it's so much in everyone. It's weird. I said, I didn't want to be negative about the Leafs, but it just feels like as soon as they lost that game, and you're like, oh shit, it's the same team. Just all that pressure comes piling back on them. I can feel it. It's weird. They're a good team. They got lots of skill, but you immediately think oh, what's going to happen in the first round? What
happens? Here's the question. Murray's out 4 weeks. He's probably going to come back and be injured again. What happens when Murray's out and this Samsonov guy has a couple bad games in a row?
I've got a theory on that.
Alexander? I coached him and
I think this is
called up again, the other night.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
The other goalie wasn't healthy. He was going to be called up. Good for him.
A situation that I think has an outside chance. If that goes down, if Murray comes back, he's not hurt. Samsonov looks brutal. Carey Price. Does Carey Price get traded to the Leafs? I don't know. All chips got to be pushed in the middle.
Situation. I don't understand it.
Man, Montreal just wants to tank, I think. I think they really don't want to win, and they're have that extra surgery.
Why don't they trade him?
I don't think anyone – there's no – people are probably pretty hesitant to take a goalie that hasn't played in 2 years, and he makes $10 million a year.
2 or 3 games last year, but yeah. Having said that, I mean, it's going to be between
here's my prediction, Brokey.
Phoenix or Arizona for that Bedard, and that Bedard is going to be the next guy. He's going to be way better. I was going to say than Shane Wright, but Shane Wright went 3rd overall, didn't he?
Fourth overall. Fourth overall. That's right. And he's a healthy scratch tonight.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he played I think 7 minutes in the opening game. Then he's a healthy scratch tonight. So
there you go.
Kingston, Ontario, your boy's coming back. I feel like.
Kingston, Ontario. Yeah, you never know. So anyways, where do you want to go about now, bud?
So we're talking about
a Boston game. You're going to give me 2-1 odds. You got Boston. I got Ottawa for odds.
Hold on. I want to make a prediction here. I'm going to go to limb. First episode, season 3. I've said Carey Price. I'm wearing my Chicago Blackhawks hat today, Brokey, because this is what I think is going to happen in Toronto this year. The Leafs are going to either A, get Carey Price, or they are going to swing for the fences, and Patty Kane's going to be a Maple Leaf. He's going to roll in, play with Austin Matthews.
Playing in Toronto.
I don't give a fuck what he wants. He's coming to Toronto.
He denied the trade, bud. Get over it.
What's that?
He denied the trade.
That's a lot. You don't know that at all. That's that's not anything accurate at all. There was no talk that really happening right now. If Toronto's in the playoff hunt, if Toronto's like a serious contender, you tell me Patrick Kane won't waive to come play with Austin Matthews for 2 months. Yeah, of course he'll waive. Get over yourself, man.
What are you going to give him? What are you going to give?
Whatever the fuck they want. Take it all.
Matthews and Marner.
No, you can have Sandin, Nyes, Robertson, 7 first-round picks. I don't care. Send Patrick Kane or Carey Price this way, and let's make a Stanley Cup run. I'm fucking over this first-round bullshit. Patty Kane's coming to the Leafs, baby.
I know Fleming has fallen asleep and is dreaming. Hopefully he wakes up soon.
Yeah. That's what I said to you when you said Claude Drew's going to come. So
yeah.
Anything can happen.
Anything. I was so pumped when that happened, especially right with the Brinket and everything. I was like, oh my God, we got both. So back to that right here, buddy. You said you were smelling bets. I mean, I'm still waiting. Are you giving me 2-1 odds? Boston's what?
I'm not giving you 2-1 odds. You think they're better than Boston? I'll take it straight up for 50.
What? Jesus, you pay 2-1 online, Fleming.
You do not get 2-1 online, Clarence. Calm down.
Check it out. Okay, we'll talk about that later in the podcast.
Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'll do 50. Let's do it. 50
all right, $50. $50. I get Boston.
Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. It's the Macho Man. Give me a red sheet, bud. All right. So one of the things we were talking about at the start of the episode, we had a really successful summer. We had 5 golf tournaments in the local area. I think next year we're going to shrink them a little bit and try to throw out to bigger areas as well to try and spread it around. But having said that, we had our first Celebrity Golf Classic, and was it ever a hit? It was an amazing time. We had some unbelievable NHLERs there, headlined by Wendel Clark, Rick Vaive, Brad May, Gary Leeman,
Iafrate, Bernie Nichols, Chris Newberry.
Nichols scored 70 goals one year in the NHL. 7-0. 70. Austin Matthews is like 9 short.
Yeah.
And he got a tournament. What a beauty. He brought his girlfriend. I think it's his fiance now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a ton of fun. And the other thing too was, a lot of our listeners, we've heard all the old Belleville Bulls come on, which we actually love the Belleville Bulls. We're going to bring them back one day. But David Silverstone, one of the big fan favorites, was there. What a ton of fun he was. Everybody loves Mike Renzi. Dustin Papineau, you guys remember him, played for the Islanders. And, of course, who am I missing?
Newberry, Randy Rowe, Mike Mole.
Randy Rowe, yeah. So, I mean.
Rain Carnegie was there.
Rain Carnegie, yeah. Rain Carnegie's played for the Bulls there. Oh, it's so funny story. So my cousin played the tournament, Troy, and I didn't tell you this, Clement, so I'll tell you it on here. So he golfed with Rain Carnegie. So it was all random, right? Mm-hmm. So his team got to golf with Rain. He was over last week for dinner. He goes, you wouldn't believe what I found in my closet or whatever. A Rain Carnegie signed jersey from the Bulls. I'm like, no, I couldn't believe it. He's like, could you imagine that's what I golfed with like 2 months ago? I just thought that was pretty cool. You know what? Our tournaments are a hit right now. We've got, I'm not going to say who it was or anything. One of our guys who was at big celebs, like these big NHLer guys, ended up going fishing with their team like a month later. Like they've been friends now. Unbelievable. We are already planning the 2023 Celebrity Golf Classic. I can't wait for it again. And we're actually planning something beforehand as well. We're hoping to get it going. Maybe we shouldn't drop it yet because it's not for sure, but we have lots of the plans for 2023. The Celebrity Golf Classic was awesome. We gave away 3 massive trips. A trip to Jamaica for 2, Dominican for 2, Las Vegas for 2. I mean, that was all given away at this tournament. What else, Flem? We had an awesome meal at Shoeless Joe's. I think it was just a ton of fun. Everybody got to meet these players, and they were all very, very nice guys who went there and told stories. I forget the guy's name, John Chariot, the guy that played with Gretzky.
Mike Krushelinski
or whatever. Stanley Cup champion.
4 times.
He's a coach too, which is cool. I think he might have a Memorial Cup. He brought his rings there. I didn't get to put them on. I didn't see them, but some of the players that played with him got to put on the rings. How cool is that? You know, you go to a golf tournament and you end up meeting these guys and you got Stanley Cup rings on your fingers. I mean, I just think that's, you know, for fans of the sport, it's just awesome, right? So I know it's going to be even bigger hit next year. We're going to have even bigger names, and I just can't wait. It was such a success.
That's got to be the coolest thing we've ever done, Brokey. I think, like, hands down. Like, especially if you're a guy that likes to go on social media and stuff, like, how could you not love coming to a golf tournament, playing with an NHLer, putting Stanley Cup rings on your finger, and then just posting that all over your Twitter or your Instagram or your Facebook, right? Like, it's just got to be one of the ultimate social flexes. And you know what? It was such a great day, Brokey. I had so much fun. And July 15th, 2023, the Celebrity Golf Classic is back at Trillium Woods. And this year it's going to be bigger and better. And it's going to be the party of the year in Belleville. I can guarantee it, Brokey.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, we've already booked the date in with Trillium, and it's going to be awesome. We'll obviously going to announce the celebrities a little bit closer to the event.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe throughout the winter we might be able to nail a couple down, anyways. But yeah, so ton of fun. We also had 2 tournaments where the winning teams. One was just recently last weekend. The winning teams won trips to Las Vegas for winning the tournament, which was a ton of fun, and then some random draws for other vacation packages. We had a fun tournament. I mean, you know, where it was a little bit, everyone a little bit tipsy, Flem? And Blue Jays bus trips.
Yeah.
I missed one of them, unfortunately. I was sick. But, I mean, what an awesome summer. We're excited. We got a lot of plans, I think, for 2023, especially once we head into the end of winter, spring. There's a lot of big events we're going to have. Some 4-on-4 hockey, some other stuff. It's just going to be a ton of fun. So we're really excited. We're glad that everyone's supporting us, this podcast, coming to the tournaments, and we're only going to get bigger and better as we go. So thanks, guys. And thanks to our big sponsors. Maybe you can help me out here, Clem, but let's name them off here, just the main ones.
Yeah, so we got Monument Geomatics. They're a surveying and estimating company. They're a main sponsor. The Smoke and Leaf in Napanee. It's a dispenser shop. They're a platinum sponsor with us. We also have Brad Warner. Get Warner in your corner. He's our realtor.
Your corner, baby.
He's our realtor for Pay It Forward Sports. Chris Rashad from Rashad Home Hardware. Gerald Bilker from America. And we got Chris Lattis from CTL Roofing, just amongst a lot of other partners, but those are probably our biggest ones, right? So just a big shout out to all the guys in the community. And look, without those guys, Pay It Forward Sports wouldn't be what it is. We are growing, we're trying to be one of the biggest sporting event places in Canada. No one's giving out prizes like this, guys. Like, if you want to come, have a day with your friends, win awesome prizes, Pay It Forward Sports and payitforwardsports.ca is the place to be. I guarantee it.
Yeah, and again, for anybody listening, we're looking for more sponsors in next year, in the next couple of months once we develop our programs and all that stuff. But we also had probably, I'm going to say, I don't know the exact number, but I'm going to say probably close to 50, if not more, separate businesses sponsoring all of our golf tournaments for holes. Mm-hmm. So they might have sponsored a hole or two at different tournaments. Got to be close to 58 fun.
Yeah.
15 holes at a tournament. I know a lot of them were, some of them were multiples, but still, there's 10 different ones at each tournament. There's 5 tournaments. There's 50. So if my math's correct. So just thanks for the community and their support. And like we said, we just want to grow from there. We started this as a small podcast and running 1 or 2 tournaments. And now we're starting to get a little bit bigger, and we can't wait for the future, what it has to hold, what did I say, Flem? In store for us.
Yeah.
There's my
Cherry.
months rubbing off on me, eh?
Yeah.
And I can't wait until April when the Senators make the playoffs and beat the Leafs in the first round. Can you imagine? What would you do if Ottawa sneaks into 8th, Toronto's first, and Ottawa wins? What would you do?
Oh, I'd just lose it. I'd just snap. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I would just, the only word that comes to my mind is snap. Like, I would throw the biggest temper tantrum like my 4-year-old does when she just sits on the floor and like yells for like 40 minutes. I don't know. I'd probably be like 6 weeks. Like, I would just lay on the floor and like, I don't know. I said like I'm ready to get hurt again, but I'm definitely not. Like, as soon as they lost to Montreal, I was like, oh, like bad memories coming back. Like, when you break up with a girlfriend and you don't want to think about it. You're just like, oh.
As he looks to see his wife's around.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But well, you know what? Imagine Ottawa makes the playoffs.
But you know what?
Beats them, and they haven't made a. playoff round in 18 years, and the last team they beat was what Toronto beat was Ottawa.
One thing I don't think changed about the Leaf is I don't think you can like if the Leafs go against anyone in the East just with the team they got, I don't think you could say they're more than like a coin flip to win, and that's against anyone in the first round of the playoffs because they just don't seem to be built for it right now. Like that's just the bottom line. They're going to get no secondary scoring from that third line. Like look, in the first round of the playoffs, like you need your third line to chip in 3, 4, maybe 5 goals. God, they're going to be lucky to get like your big acquisition was Calle Yarncroke. Like I don't even know who that guy is. Like he was taking the expansion draft. Like a team literally gave him away for nothing. Like that's your big pull. Like I just don't think they have the pieces they need to get it done, Brokey. So like whether they come up against Pittsburgh, Washington, Florida, Carolina, Ottawa, Boston, look, I think the Leafs are a coin flip at best come first round against any of the teams. That's my honest opinion on it.
Well, I mean, time will tell, but again, they're like you say, they finished in second or third.
Now watch them come out and just sweep like the first 2 rounds.
Second or third in the division, they're going to be playing, Tampa Bay, Florida, Boston, Ottawa,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of those teams. But then if they finish first, okay, they're playing the 7th or 8th seed, which is probably could be Boston. I don't think it's going to be Boston, but it could be, and it could be even Washington or Pittsburgh as well. Like, or on Islanders. But here's my take. So we've already talked a lot about the Leafs in a sense. Around the league, what's your predictions? Maybe give me 1 or 2 teams that you think either are going to be a surprise or are going to continue to dominate and have a real good chance at winning the cup.
Good chance at winning the cup. Well, I'm going to tell you one team because I would just think I think one team that's going to fall. I think the Florida Panthers are a team that's overrated at this point. Like I think it's all good to bring in Matthew Tkachuk.
Our podcast.
What's that?
Hopefully Nick Cousins doesn't watch our podcast.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
No. I just think I think even the bigger losses, I just don't think that defense is cut out for it. Is Bobrovsky the guy? No, Bobrovsky's definitely not the guy. Like he's long past that. I don't know. I just think Florida might be that team to kind of slip. One team I really like this year is a lot of guys are on the Rangers. I like Carolina, man. I just always like what Carolina does. I think Sebastian Aho is one of the most underrated players in the league. So they'd be a team I'd watch out for. And a team that I think has a great chance to win the Cup, Roki. And I'm just going to say it, and it's the team with the best player in the world. It's the Edmonton Oilers, man. I think the Oilers are –
Hold on a second here. Hold on. Hold on a second here. What did you just say?
I'm not even going to hide it. If I say this year that Austin Matthews is better than Connor McDavid, just next time you see me, just slap me because it's completely wrong. Connor McDavid is so goddamn good. I bet you McDavid scores, 55, 60 goals this year. He's just on
the last 2 seasons. Oh my God, Austin Matthews, it comes down to goals. It's goals, man. It's goals. He's way better than everybody. He's way better than that, McDavid.
Look, I think Calgary might be a little overrated. I think the Oilers got a pretty good path to the finals here. I think Colorado's. I'm not knocking Colorado. Colorado's gonna be good. Kadri's gonna be a big loss for them though. He was the driver of that second line kind of thing. He was where the depth started that team, and everyone is pushed up a spot now, right where Kadri could handle that load. I'm not sure I think Newhook's the new second line center. I'm not sure Newhook's up for the job. But I think that's going to be a big thing for Colorado. And then their goaltending. They lost Kemper to Washington. Is the goaltending going to be up for it? I don't know, Brokey. So I think the Oilers are not a sneaky team necessarily, but I would put some money on the Oilers right now. I think they're going to be a team that goes pretty far this year.
So I
think it's a great thing that the Leafs' future captain, Connor McDavid, will have a Stanley Cup ring when he comes here in a few years.
There's a 0% chance he comes to Toronto. just to wipe that smile off your face, just to broadcast live here. We are broadcasting on Monday night, and it's 2-0 Phoenix over Toronto.
I wasn't even going to watch. No. I completely knew that was going to happen. There's just no chance.
2-0, and they're being outshot by Phoenix too.
Do you want to know when the Leafs?
The one on Florida, but to go on the Florida thing just before we get there, I agree with you. Sorry, Cuzzy, but Florida's my team to drop off. Not to drop off to be out of the playoffs or anything like that. I just don't think they're going to lead the NHL this year. I think there's a chance they could finish 3rd in the division. I really do. I think there's a chance they can miss.
I think there's a legitimate chance they can miss. Yep. I think they're really weak without Weegar. Look, Ekblad's a guy that gets hurt all the time. Their only true defenseman right now is Aaron Ekblad. If Ekblad gets hurt, if they don't have Weegar, sound the alarm bells. They're in trouble there. They're just not deep enough on defense.
What a trade too, eh? Like to get rid of Uyghur and Huberdeau, and I mean, just Matthew Tkachuk. We'll see what happens there in Florida, but it's definitely interesting to that was a massive trade. Calgary Flames was just probably the other surprise of the summer. We thought they were almost down and out, and then now they're back at it. They're a team that I think a favorite. Them and Edmonton. It's going to be them probably in the second round if I was predicting. That's going to probably be that might be the best round of hockey this year, to be honest. If I'm predicting something and going to lay out the way my my bracket and everything goes, I'm going to say it's going to be Calgary and Edmonton in the second round, and it might be the best round of the playoffs.
For sure, honestly, I agree with that.
Unreal. I think I think Colorado has a chance to repeat. But like you said, the things you stated, the goalie situations, Kadri. I mean, who knows? Especially if you get injuries. But you got top 2, 3 best player in the world, McKinnon, and top maybe 3 best player in the world, Makar. At least he was last year. Unbelievable. Those guys can achieve so much. They do have a lot more pieces around. But the Kadri piece was a big piece last year, without a doubt. And if Toronto had him, if they didn't trade him, I understand why they traded him, but they didn't trade him, they'd be past the first round by now.
Hey, let's look at this. So we'll get rid of Kyle Dubas will trade Nazem Kadri because he makes, a couple bad decisions in the playoffs. But you keep around a guy like Alex Kerfoot, who literally made a drop pass in his own end to the other team to go on breakaway in game 6. You keep Justin Hall, who's made bad play after bad play. Like, it just seems like the Kadri thing was almost like a personal vendetta to Dubas. Like, I don't know. I don't get it, man. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
No, and good for Kadri, winning the cup.
Hey, I want to talk about one thing about the Tkachuk trade though. So if you're Brad Treliving in I don't know how we got the haul he did for Tkachuk, man. Like you were in a horrible spot. Like just if you're the Florida GM and you come up to Treliving and who can't sign Tkachuk said, I'm not signing. If you say Huberdeau and Tkachuk, or Huberdeau for Tkachuk, you pull the trigger. You don't need to add Uyghur in the first in. Like if you want to add the first in to be a nice guy, I think Florida really overpaid in that deal. Not that Tkachuk's not a great player, but they had the leverage, not vice versa. I don't know how they gave away three guys for him.
Who's the GM in Florida? What's his name again?
Anyway,
the GM in Florida, the rumor is he was given about 5 Boston Pizza franchises.
Yeah, I bet.
There's something to that story because it makes no sense. Like you said, why are you giving away these 2 for him? I don't get it. He always backs against the wall. I mean, I'm baffled. I still don't understand that. And for anybody,
I don't understand the Uyghur piece. Like you don't need to add it in.
The dad owns Boston Pizza, like he's the main owner.
Yeah.
Brad's dad. I forget his first name, but anyways, he's on Dragon's Den and all that. That was the inside joke.
Jim
Treliving. Yeah. But anyways, unbelievable. Good for him. I mean, and then he went and signed them both too. That's what you're like. They're only on one-year deals this year, and he signed them both. I think.
Yeah.
Did Uyghur not just get signed just like a week ago?
Yeah, Uyghur re-upped 8 years, like 6.5 per or something like that.
Unbelievable. Like that's got to be, if Calgary does some damage this year, that's got to be GM of the year. Unless Ottawa makes it to the third round, which might happen. I mean, but right now it's between those 2 GMs though. GM of the year, I would say. I mean, it's early, it's 2 games in, but for what's happened so far. You know what? The other thing too, last but not least about my Senators, I would say not yet because there's only been 2 games, but Ottawa's got to be minimum 500, if not above, after 20 games, or DJ's got to go. It's just.
Yeah, I was actually going to try to make that bet with you.
Now is the win. They're at the start of their window as they're winning, but you cannot be like 8 and 12, 20 games in with the team they have. It's unacceptable.
That was a bet I was going to try to poach to you, as I was like, does DJ Smith make it to February 1st kind of thing? Like that's a legitimate thing I can see happening this year. Like let's say the Senators come out and you go, you're, I don't know, in your first 25 games, you're like 10 and 15. Like,
he's got to go. 100%.
He might be done. Like he honestly might be done.
No, that might be. He has to be fired.
There's too much pressure on the organization now. Yeah, like
the team that they've put on. I'm not saying that they're a Stanley Cup contender, but they're definitely not a 10 and 15 team. I mean, and he's a rookie. He's not a rookie coach because he's coached, but this is his first team that he's coached, right?
But Pierre likes him too. Pierre loves him. You know that.
Pierre's fired guys before. I mean, Ottawa went through a lot of coaches before. I think Pierre would pull the trigger if something like that happens, and I'm sure that I'm sure he knows. And not only that Eugene's gone, right? I'm sure Pierre has pressure, and I know Pierre has pressure. Even though he's done that, they're going to say, "Listen, we got to start winning now, right?" So,
he has pressure just by the moves he made.
500 in the first 20, 25 games. They got to be above 500. If they're 12 and 12 or whatever, okay, give it another month, see where they're at. If they're,
Yeah.
and then if they start going under, I mean, but I feel like I said, 8-12 or 10-15, unacceptable. Unacceptable. Not be.
Yeah.
Can't be. It's unacceptable this year. Last year, the year before, sure. You didn't have, but now you got like, not only they got the two studs, they got Sanderson up, they got Pinto back, and they're healthy, right? Forsberg, once Talbot comes back, I mean, there's no excuse for those guys to not be fighting for a playoff spot. There's no excuse at all to not be top 10 in the division, the conference. There's no excuse.
I agree. No, for sure. With the top six, like I know I trip you all the time with the top six, how they're not the best around, but with a top six like that, you pretty much can't be under 10th or you'd be underperforming. Like that's just the way it is. Yeah. You got to be within striking distance coming into the year, and then they should be. Let's be honest. If they get good goal, like they need, every team needs good goaltending. If they get capable goaltending, there should be no excuse for them not to be in the hunt for the playoffs at the end of the year. No way.
Exactly. And that's where it's got to be with DJ, right? So, but we'll see, buddy. Tomorrow night, it's Ottawa's home. Well, it's Tuesday night. We're recording here on Monday. But so Tuesday night, the 18th, I'm heading down with Amo to watch the Boston Bruins get beat up by my Senators. Eamon's a Bruins fan, so I'm fired up. Fleming and I got $50 on the game. I think I got 20 with my old man. I don't know if Eamon's going to bet me or not. It's going to be one heck of a day. So I can't wait to our next podcast. I'll have lots of money in front of me.
Maybe text Hawk and see if he'll bet $1 or $2 with you too. Might get a loony out of him.
To those Matt and Joe's, he only paid $5 cover instead of $6 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Hawk's back in Picton, but he won't come on here because he gets too nervous, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get him on one time, eh?
Yeah.
Anyways, it's been great to have our first episode. Hopefully we're gonna have some real good guests. We got I think our next one is our first guest this season is definitely gonna have some NHL experience anyways, and we're planning to have a lot more NHLERs and more ex-Belleville Bulls. I think that was a big hit. And like you said, we'd love to have the Bulls back in Belleville, and I think my prediction is it's going to happen someday.
And it's time to get the Senators out of here now, Brokey. Like I'm done with it. I don't want an Ottawa franchise located in Belleville. The Bulls are coming back. The Senators are old news. They're going to move to Canada once friggin' Rito Heights or whatever it is built, right? Or
that's a few years away though, but that's 5 years.
Well, I know that's 5 years away. So yeah, in 5 years we'll bring the Bulls back.
Wouldn't shock me. I'm not going to comment on that. I think you know behind the scenes how my feelings are with that.
Well, the rink was packed for the opening game. I thought, it looked like Tuesday night in the Gas House League in there. That's something.
And they gave away a lot of free tickets too. But anyways, yeah. So go Sens, go. We'll see. The Leafs are down 2-0. Yeah. Hey, you want to bet on the game? I'll take Phoenix for 20.
No way.
Not even odds. I mean, the odds before the game were probably 4-1.
I think they were legit minus 500.
They were actually.
No, because I can predict when the Leafs are going to lose. Just put them against a shitty team when they should trounce them.
They struggle against Phoenix, eh? Why is that?
And I'm not trying to. They struggle in big moments. They struggle against bad teams, but also bad teams in big moments. Like you get Washington after you come game 2. I could have told you the Leafs are going to beat Washington hands down the other night. You have a bad showing. You're playing a pretty good team, even though you're on back-to-backs. The Leafs are just bound to win that game, just like they were bound to lose this game Monday night. I don't know. They're just, they don't show up every day. That's just the way it is.
No, so it's going to be interesting. But they got the talent and the skill to battle back against.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially they're only down 2-0. Worst lead in hockey. So I mean, do we got $20 on it?
No, but you know what I love to do, and this is just for the bettors out there, and this even applies football. If you can get some odds, say the Leafs are down 2-0, if you can go live bet the Leafs at plus money right now, just go hit it, man. Same thing for football. If you get a team that's a big favorite and they're down 14 points early in football, just go hit the live button and just bet on the team. I've been doing that a lot actually, Brokey, for football this year. I've been making some pretty good money. The game's a coin flip. At the start of the game. 20 minutes in, they're oh, this good team's 4-1 now. And every single time it's a 3-point game at the end. It's never a blowout.
But I like the hockey one because, like you say, up 2-0 or 4-2 or whatever. That's a time where you can throw some money on that, right?
I didn't tell you this, but in the preseason there was one. I think Carolina was losing to Buffalo. It was 4-0, at halfway through the second, and Carolina was a 17-1 underdog. I went on and I put money on Carolina. They came back and they lost in overtime, so it sucked. But still, 17-1 Carolina against Buffalo, man. It was like $20 paid $340. Like, how can you not do it?
Just one question for you. What happened with last night's football game?
No comment. Oh, I was fucking rattled with that.
Fleming up. So Fleming was in a suicide pool, 95 entries, only 13 left. The winning player, first place only, gets $9,500.
And I took Tampa Bay. I took the GOAT, Tom Brady, against the guy in his.
I heard he wasn't the goal last night. I heard he was pointing to all his teammates, giving them shit. He did not look good. Everything I saw.
Oh, he didn't look good. And they were playing a guy in the second NFL game, and I actually can't believe they lost. Oh, I was just something grumpy yesterday. Like, yeah, if you didn't get any text from me last night, it was probably good, Brokey, because I was.
I did text you and ask how you did, and you said there's a chance everybody could lose.
Yeah, there was, because there were three. The picks were Tampa Bay, San Francisco, and the Rams. And Tampa Bay and San Francisco lost the 1 o'clock game. And at one point, the Rams were down 10-3 to Carolina. Now they came back and won, so that didn't happen. But I think everything would have reverted to the previous week if that happened. So it didn't. I choked. I was seriously choked about it yesterday. Like, no words. I was gutted when it happened.
We'll just have to do another one. Hey, maybe that just gives us a hint. Maybe we should do one for hockey. I love it.
For sure.
Anyways, guys, I think that's probably enough for the first episode. We look forward to the future here at season 3. And hopefully, I don't know if it'll be next episode, but within the next couple episodes, I'm going to have a lot better scene here than the 1970s behind me. The Demon's Den is being developed as we speak the next couple of weeks, buddy. So look forward to that. Look forward to chirping Fleming and watching my Senators take on the Bruins and smoke them on Tuesday, the 18th. Go Sens, go.
Thanks for all the Boo Club members for tuning in and to the Pay It Forward Sports Network. And Jeff Broke, my one question, buddy. Are you in?
The Boo Club.